A huge week one victory for Michigan State as they took on the Western Michigan Broncos in East Lansing. We're going to have to see if we can come back this week against Boston College, a team that Michigan State lost to last year, 23 to, I believe, 19 in a really close and actually very entertaining game. But Michigan State building off a little bit of confidence in the second half on the defensive side of the ball, not allowing a score against Western Michigan. Granted, Western Michigan's a MAC team. Michigan State is a Big Ten team, so it should really be that way. But sometimes, as you know, it's not always that way. I wanted to take a quick look here at the wide receivers because we didn't get an opportunity to do that last week. So the big name that we're going to talk about quite a bit is the sophomore out of Detroit, Nick Marsh. Had a fantastic freshman year. Really kind of showed that he could be receiver number one for the Spartans. Very stout young man, and he's very fast, sitting at 91 speed. Might not seem that fast, but when you watch him on the field, it is incredible. And you've got other amazing guys like Krishan McCray and Omari Kelly, who is a senior, a couple guys that we're going to be losing. We're not looking too great as far as future depth goes. Of course, you've got Nick Marsh. Hopefully McCray sticks around for at least his senior year with Michigan State. But Braylon Collier out of Sandusky, Ohio, freshman redshirt wide receiver, already a 76 overall. He's a big guy that we're going to look to probably target coming up in future seasons. Let's take a quick look around the country as to what's going on. Texas took on Ohio State in week one and beat them. That's why they're the number one team in the country, 45-24. Ohio State coming off that national championship and losing in week one to possibly the best team in the SEC. We'll have to see how this year pans out. Georgia looking for a comeback year after not making a national championship game in 2 straight years. Who would have thought Georgia wouldn't make a national championship game? LSU went into Clemson last week and whooped up on them 49-34. That's a pretty big win for the guys in Death Valley going against Louisiana Tech this week. We'll see if they can bounce back, but they're looking pretty good already. LSU, although they lost Bryce Underwood to Michigan, maybe they didn't need him after all. And another really close loss inside of the top 25 has Miami losing to Notre Dame. Miami hopefully going to get a bounce back this week against an FCS school. Should be an easy win for them, right? You would think so at a 91 overall. They drop from 13 to 20. Quite the loss. Let's see real quick where Notre Dame moved up. Actually, looks like they stayed place. So they dropped from 13 all the way down to 20 from losing to the number 5 team in the country. Big win for Notre Dame in week one. Let's take a look at some of the standout players for Boston College before we go up against them. They are a 3-star program, 1-0 in the ACC. So they play teams like Clemson and Miami and stuff like that. So you've got junior safety KP Price. We're going to have to watch out for him, or Aidan Chiles is going to have to watch out for him. A pretty stout offensive line with Logan Taylor here. Actually looks like he might be injured, so he might not even play this week. Then you've got Jude Bowery, a junior out of Maryland, and Lewis Bond. We'll have to find out if he's related to Isaiah Bond or not. Very well possible. Their quarterback is 79 overall, Grayson James. He is a senior out of Duncanville, Texas, and he's a backfield creator. So we probably can expect him to move around in the pocket just a little bit and try to create opportunities. Not much in the way of speed, only at 79 speed, but he does have a pretty solid running back room behind him. Senior Jordan McDonald out of Atlanta, Georgia, 89 speed, 85 overall, elusive bruiser, so he could put some of our defenders on their backs. And he's got a good guy backing him up. Turbo Richard, what a name. Turbo Richard out of Hickory, North Carolina. Shout out if you're from Hickory. 5'8", 200 pounds. That's a pretty big boy right there as a running back. And he's got 88 speed, so we're probably going to see him a little bit in this game as well.
Welcome to the banks of the Red Cedar, East Lansing, home of the Michigan State Spartans, where the fans have been ready for hours in anticipation of this big one we have coming up. We've got a sensational matchup for you. Fans have been filing in and getting ready for this game, as we'll see a squad from the ACC, the Boston College Eagles, Sports College Football. I'm Reese Davis, joined here in the booth, as always, by David Pollack and Jesse Palmer. Guys, let's tee this one up.
All right, here we go. Looks like we're going to be returning to start the game. Week 2 against Boston College. We need a little bit of revenge here. Michigan State, of course, losing to Boston College last year. Not a good look for Michigan State. Kind of set the tone for the year. Granted, Boston College, not really a slouch by any means, but it's going to be Aidan Chiles getting an opportunity very early on. Look at this, the keys to the game. Some keys there that we weren't able to read because they took it away too fast. Good job, EA. So far, I've been loving college football 26. It is, I feel like it's quite a bit better than last year. We're going to start off with a pass here. And scratch that. We're going to run right up the middle, make a man miss with Aidan Chiles. And that's going to be a gain of 8. We didn't run as often as I wanted to. Week 1 with Chiles. Tolliver was really the workhorse. Really kind of carried us on his back, and he's going to get a lot of opportunities today. We're probably going to look at doing some formation subs, change up some sort of things, try to keep him fresh. We know that he went out with an ankle injury, and coming into this week, we found out that he was still nursing that ankle a little bit, but he looked at me and he said, "Hey, I'm ready to go," and he makes a man miss, but only for 3 yards. He was 100% ready to go. We had a conversation with him in practice. Seemed like he didn't care the situation. He knew that it was huge for Michigan State to try to bounce back and beat Boston College on another gain of 3. So we're going to have 3rd and short. We got to dial up the perfect play for the Eagles here. Looks like it's potentially cover 3, looking for zone coverage here. McCray was a big receiver along with Nick Marsh a week ago, looking for Jack Velling as well. Let's see what we got for 3rd down. Going to be out to Velling. He's going to be another one of our workhorses in this offense. Huge tight end out of Oregon State. Transferred along with Aidan Chiles, so these two have a connection that goes much further than MSU, which is pretty cool when you talk about that. And a drop ball from Nick Marsh. Love to see it. Love to see it. Looks like Davion Crouch was the defender there. 2nd and 10. 7 minutes remaining. And Tolliver looking to get some big yardage here. 2nd down. Gonna gain about 7, making a nice 3rd and short for the Michigan State Spartans to try to respond. Look for Velling again here. He is a great target on short down situations, but it doesn't matter. Aidan Chiles taken down, and he won't even be able to get the throw completed to his tight end. Looked like Velling was the intended target there. And apparently we're going for it. I definitely was not paying attention. Screw it. That's what coach wanted to do, and it doesn't matter. We're going to get it. Big 1st down for Tolliver. Huge 1st down. You look at the ankle there at the top right of your screen, so he is impacted by it just a little bit. -2 speed, -2 change of direction, and -2 break tackle. But he said he didn't care. He wants us to feed him, and that's exactly what we're going to do. He's a big man running people over. That's a huge, well, not huge, but solid gain on 2nd down. I think we're going to probably change up some of the substitutions to try to keep Tolliver healthy. You can see he's a little out of breath here, but we're going to hand it off to him anyway because he knows what his job is, and his job is to run it down the throats of these Boston College Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. Just kidding. They aren't going to fly anywhere besides back home with a loss. Uh-oh. Got a little bit of pressure. Didn't matter. Aidan Chiles escapes. This game has a different feel than what college football 25 did. And I love it. It just feels different. Granted, maybe it's just because I haven't played a single football game in probably 6 months. That's a big catch for Velling. He gets to the 4. And a huge 1st down. Michigan State is driving on a long drive, almost eating up a total of 6 minutes here in the 1st quarter. You know who we got to go to, ladies and gentlemen. We got to give the ball to Tolliver. He deserves a touchdown. He battled all week through practice, the pain and the agony. Oh, he makes a cut, but it wasn't good enough. It's going to gain none there. Let's see if we can get him with a little bit of a fake. We're going to go zone, fake, jet. Get McCray in motion. Tulliver's going to go to the left side. McCray's moving in motion now, going to pull over that corner, and it might be wide open for Tulliver, and that's an MSU touchdown. And here's Grayson James. Last week, 321 yards through the air and 4 touchdowns. Let's hope that he doesn't do that to us this week. Looks like they want us to come out in zone coverage. Remember, we have to stick with coach suggestions. That is one of the main rules for this long-term rebuild of the Michigan State Spartans, and a pretty solid defensive play. Loss of 1. One thing I did want to say, and this hurts to say a little bit as a Michigan fan, playing with MSU has been kind of fun. I'm actually really enjoying it. They're a fun school to play with, and that's going to be another loss. Grayson James. Who made that tackle? Was that Jordan Hall? Jordan Hall, the Mike middle linebacker, or the Mike back, however you want to say it, makes a huge tackle. Grayson going with the dual gloves, as you can see on his hands on 3rd down. Looking to pass, but he got it off somehow. Interesting. I don't know what you call that. Is that a fumble? Obviously not, according to the game. Should that be intentional grounding? I don't know. Let's see if we can get a return here. And we juked ourselves out of bounds. So, good stop. We know that against Western Michigan, we weren't able to make too many stops in the first half. It was a whole lot of Western Michigan offense and a whole lot of putting our defense, their backs to the wall. And we're going to make a quick change here to kind of keep Mr. Tulliver fresh. So we're going to go keep fresh on the halfback situation. We don't want him getting too tired. Maybe need to look to Aidan Chiles a little bit more in this game. Another guy that I do want to target a tad bit more, and we're in a bad spot. Get rid of it. Get rid of it, Chiles. Let's go. All right. We'll take it. 3rd and 9. I think our number 1 read is Velling here. Maybe Marsh over the middle, depending on what that Mike back does. Got a man in motion. It is going to be Velling for sure. Huge gain and more from Velling. Is going to go to the end zone. Huge touchdown for MSU. All right, as the Spartans come back out on defense, this stadium is absolutely rocking here in East Lansing. A fantastic start, 2 drives, 2 touchdowns. Tulliver and Velling are 2 workhorses getting involved very early in this game, which definitely brings a sense of energy to the student section here in East Lansing. That's a pretty solid gain. That's Lewis Bond making man miss. Huge gain for Lewis Bond. He put us on a poster, ladies and gentlemen. That is a fantastic play. You can see that at the top left of your screen there. Broke a tackle, spun out of the first, then broke another. Looks pretty good. Looks like they might just, they're going to get the ball off. And that'll be the end of the first quarter here for the Boston College Eagles and the Michigan State Spartans. Only one word can describe that first quarter for Michigan State. That's domination. They have completely dominated the first half so far. as it looks like Michigan State might have an injury. That's Malik Spencer. That's a pretty big loss. Hopefully he'll be okay, and we'll get to see him come back out into this game. Looks like we're going to be sticking. Actually, I think we're going to go a little man coverage here. Liam Connor up on your screen there. Grayson James in the shotgun, pointing out the Mike defender. Looking to throwing it up deep. He's got a safety and a cornerback there, and nearly intercepted by Michigan State. And it looks like it's going to be bruised ribs from Malik Spencer, but he will return, and that's going to lead a call to the punt team. Another opportunity, I was going to say 3 and out, but it actually wasn't. They did pick up 1 first down on this drive, but Michigan State's defense has been seriously dominating the front 5 for Boston College Eagles, as you would hope. You know, you would hope that the Big Ten defensive line is a little bit tougher than the ACC offensive line, as we call for a pass on first down, and it looks like it's batted down potentially by one of their down linemen. And 4 for 8 passing so far for Chiles. Not the greatest start as far as completion percentage goes, but it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, stats do not matter. It only matters about winning. And here's another big run looking for Tolliver, going to gain about 12 there. He's already ran the ball 10 times. You can see that ankle is clearly still bothering him, maybe in some of the ways that he gets up and jogs off to the sideline, as Frazier will replace Tolliver in the backfield for the Spartans. Looking to hand it off. It is going to be Frazier. He's going to gain about 6. Not a bad little gain there. I think that's one thing that we need to focus on, is keeping our running backs fresh, as you see Tullis, who I do believe had a touchdown last week, step into the game. And we're playing straight up smash mouth football, and another big first down for the green and white Michigan State Spartans. Tullis remaining in the game as Tolliver looks on from the sidelines, probably getting a big glass of water or Gatorade, and another 9-yard gain for Tullis. That is 20 carries, 11 yards, as he will sub back out for Frazier. And we will go with the running back by committee in a big block upfield. That's McCray throwing a block to give Frazier a opportunity to try to break something off there, and he picks up another big gain. We may not even have to throw this ball, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to just keep it on the ground for now, as it seems like they have no idea what's coming, and if we can just wash away the clock and go to 2-0, as that's a 4-yard gain. Might not even need Aidan Chiles at a certain point in this game, as they are stacking up the box now. Got a lot of guys up on the line. Is Velling going to be there again? Hit as Chiles throws. Velling may have been there, but a disappointing play to say the least. 3rd and 6. Might be an opportunity for Michigan State to, and it doesn't look like anybody's going to be open. Chiles kind of running around. He's just going to have to throw it away. One lucky fan has got themselves a brand new ball. And Ahmet Basic, I don't know if that's how you say his name, but that's our kicker. And hopefully, and this is a relatively basic field goal attempt, so I'm going to shut up and try to kick this. Not bad. He doesn't have quite the leg on him, but you know what? It doesn't matter. It's a 3-score game in East Lansing, ladies and gentlemen. It's not even halftime. Boston College Eagles are already warming up the buses, looking to go back home, because it looks like East Lansing might be burning some couches tonight. How will Grayson James respond? 3 scores behind, not even halftime yet. Will they be able to make a comeback on this defense that is playing pretty lights out so far in this game, aside from one really nice play by Lewis Bond? Not a whole lot going on. Michigan State hasn't quite been able to get to Grayson James, but they haven't needed to put a lot of pressure on him because the defensive line, and that's a first down for Boston College. For Jordan McDonald, you take a look at his numbers. 4 attempts, 5 yards. That's not the numbers you want heading into halftime for sure, as they're going to run from the pistol this time. And there's the pressure for Michigan State, and that's a sack for Michigan State, a huge one. Grayson James is feeling it, ladies and gentlemen, and not in the good way. 2nd and long for the Eagles. They're trying to make something happen for the half. You definitely don't want to give the ball back to the Spartans down by 17 with this much time left in the second quarter. They'll gain some of that back. They'll get, well, it looks like about 8 yards, so about half the yardage to the first down there. And we'll see what MSU dials up on 3rd and 8. MSU getting ready, probably playing the pass, maybe sending a little pressure. That's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to send 5 men, but it's not going to matter. Grayson James gets it off in a decent pickup in a first down. That is 51 passing yards so far for Grayson James. Michigan State getting a little tired on this drive on the defensive side of the ball. Aidan Chiles taking a rest. That's a big gain for Boston College. And they might just respond before half. If they can respond before half and Michigan State gets the ball back and doesn't do anything with it, Boston College is right back in this game. Pressure up the middle and another solid gain of 8 for Boston College. Looks like some things have changed on their side of the ball. Michigan State might need to look to make a couple adjustments to try and help this defense out a little bit. Coach is signaling over on the sideline. Step it up, boys. We don't want them to come back on us. This is a revenge game, and we need to remember that. Grayson James looking to scramble, looking out wide, gets a block from Lewis Bond. He's going to score on the left side. Huge touchdown for Boston College. Making plays on your feet is huge for a quarterback. Not a lot of guys in the league or in college that really have that ability. If you have the ability to make a play out of nothing, such as Grayson James did there, you might find yourself a pretty good quarterback. And I do believe that Boston College may feel that way. But on the flip side of things, there are 2 minutes remaining, and Michigan State has 3 timeouts. I don't know what's going to happen here. I guess we're going to have to find out. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of urgency. We have yet to see Tulliver come back in the game. It's Tullis now, as he is getting a few more snaps right before halftime. He'll pick up about 5. Still not a lot of urgency from the Spartans, and rightfully so. They've got this game in the palm of their hands. That's another handoff to Tullis and a solid gain. Going to pick up about 12. And another first down for Sparty as the clock ticks under a minute and a half. Frazier checks into the game, and Sparty goes to the gun. And it looks like they're actually going to run play action. Oh, dangerous pass from Aidan Chiles. Almost intercepted. We didn't see him make too many poor reads a week ago, but I think right now Chiles needs to be thinking about the fact that, hey, we don't want to give the ball back to Boston College with this amount of time left on the clock. And that's a big gain. Frazier, wide open field. 20-yard gain for the Spartans. Wow. Frazier loves it. Yes, sir. That's a first down, bitch. Here in East Lansing, Sparty loves it, as you see there. Clock still ticking now under a minute. And we'll see what Michigan State looks to dial up on 1st and 10 as clock is continuing to tick. And he's just going to dump it off to his tight end. Looks like Michigan State might be content with just settling for 3 or trying to fight their way into field goal position, as they do waste one of their timeouts there. And McCray is one-on-one on the left side. Let's take a look at the matchup here. See if it's a good one, and it's okay. McCray, though, solid wide receiver. Maybe he can bust one loose. Maybe not. Maybe not. That's going to be another catch inbound. It's going to force Michigan State to use a timeout. They really got to be wary of the middle of the field there. Not only because Chiles almost threw an interception on a somewhat similar play to that earlier in the game, but I think right now the Spartans need to probably play the boundary and try to set up for a field goal, if anything. 38 seconds remaining. And that's a big catch from Velling. He's going to be inside the 5 with 32 seconds. Sparty might put up another touchdown. They still have a timeout remaining. So theoretically, Michigan State at this point could choose to run the football and still not have to waste that final timeout to try to get into the end zone. But you know what? 3 timeouts in 30-something seconds for Boston College is a decent bit. There is nobody open. Aidan Chiles is just going to throw that one away. Chiles is 7 for 15, not the greatest completion rating. Some things he kind of struggled with a year ago. They're going to move Velling out. He's going to cross back over to the left side of the field as an additional blocker. And Tulliver would be fantastic to have in this situation. And not sure what they're going for there and why they're diving. But 20 seconds remaining. You got to play this very smart if you're Michigan State. Probably don't want to risk running the football. Just because if you do and you don't get in, you might not have enough time to get the field goal unit on the field. And it might not matter because that's going to be touchdown MSU. That's about as perfect as clock management can get. I can't imagine that Boston College is going to try to do too much here before the half. But Michigan State definitely cannot take the foot off the gas pedal, as that's going to be about a gain of 7 and a timeout called for Boston College. So maybe they're loading up to throw something deep, as that is exactly what this would indicate. Grayson James coming out in a 5-wide set, hits his check down, and they're going to call another timeout. They're going to have 1 timeout remaining. So a big pass here, and we saw it in the Western Michigan game. Western Michigan had that, what I would call a Hail Mary, that resulted in a touchdown from not much further than this, if we're being honest. And not a great decision there. No timeout called this time from Boston College. So I do believe... Oh, I guess he dropped it. Didn't see that. All right, well, they're going to go back up with it. Gets hit as he throws. And Lewis Bond with the reception, exactly what I was talking about. That was dangerous. Let's go to halftime in East Lansing. Look at the numbers for Jack Velling here at halftime. 4 catches, a touchdown, 96 yards already. Huge first half for him. Omari Kelly had a touchdown. It is 24-7 Spartans, and the revenge is on in East Lansing. It doesn't seem like they have any idea. Now, take a look at this play here by Grayson. He definitely had one heck of a scramble to pick up some pretty significant yardage and actually gets himself a touchdown here. The one highlight for the Boston College Eagles today. And now back to your second half. Second half kicks off. Boston College has the football. Grayson James. You got to believe he had quite the talking to. And they've got to change something up as the first play from the line of scrimmage. That's him 8 yards. Not bad. Lewis Bond had 8 receptions for 107 yards a week ago. Currently sits at 3 receptions for 54 yards. Pretty solid. Some of that's stat padded by the final catch in the first half. And that's a first down for the Boston College Eagles. Looked like Jordan McDonald may have ran back behind the line. But they're going to give him forward progress anyway. And that's going to be a first down for the Eagles. And Michigan State will look to come back from that a little bit. And they're going back to the wide receiver screen. This time it's not Lewis Bond. It is number 1. That's Jaden Skeet. Skeet, skeet. Interesting last name, to say the least. 2nd and 7. Aidan James dropping back to pass. He's got a man, and that's Skeet Skeet again, who's going to skeet up the sideline for a pretty solid game. That's his 3rd reception of the game. And it seems like Boston College has made some adjustments that's going to help them here in the second half. We know that a week ago, Michigan State had a very solid second half defensively. And that's another first down, and Skeet Skeet again, Jesus. Not Skeet Skeet, Jesus. 12 for 15 today is Grayson James. And we got to do something about this pass defense, ladies and gentlemen. We knew coming into this year that it wasn't the greatest. And continuing to play like this, solid run for McDonald, gains nothing. That's Dontavius Nash on the tackle there. We knew coming into a game like this, it was going to be important to try to stop the pass game, kind of show what we had the ability to do, and that's right back up the middle for McDonald for 4. But as we get into Big Ten play coming up very, very soon, kind of scary, considering we have to play teams like Michigan. I don't know if we got to play Ohio State. I guess I got to look at the schedule. But some big names on the college football schedule, and that steps out of bounds. Easily could have turned upfield. Take a look at the quarterback stats at the top right there. Grayson James is outshining Aidan Chiles just a little bit. But nonetheless, Aidan Chiles is winning. 24-7, 3-score game. 5.5 minutes remain here in the third quarter, and that's an end around to Lewis Bond, and he's going to get shillelagh'd by Quindarius Dunnigan. You can say that name again. Quindarius Dunnigan. Makes a pretty nice tackle there. I think Michigan State looking to probably play underneath. It's been a lot of passing from the Eagles today. And that might be a touchdown, and it is. Who else? Skeet Skeet with a touchdown for the Eagles, and just like that, they're looking to make it a 10-point game here in East Lansing. Don't look now. Is the comeback on for Boston College? That's Jaden Skeet, a.k.a. Skeet Skeet, his friends call him. And he does his best impression of a helicopter. 5 catches, 55 yards, and a touch. And here's the extra point. And it is good. Michigan State going to get the ball back. 10 plays, almost 5 minutes, 76 yards. Took off half the quarter. Good job by Boston College. Whatever they talked about, and a decent gain from Nick Marsh there. Whatever they talked about during the break has certainly paid off. We have yet to see Tolliver back. Maybe still nursing that ankle injury. We'll try to find out a little bit more about that situation later on as we go into the rest of the game. That's Mekhi Frazier. Maybe we don't need Tolliver. It seems as if we've been okay running the football so far. Would like to see Aidan Chiles get a little more active here in this second half. He certainly needs to. He's looked good at times. A couple poor throwing decisions. That's a big, decent shot. Oh, nice juke from Velling. Who knew the big man had the wheels and the jukes like that? Man, it's like he was playing college football 26 or something like that. He hit him with the stick. With his stick, his big old stick. Here goes Tullis out to the left side. And another first down, 2 first downs in a row. You might as well call it out, first down bitch. And right now, Michigan State taking off about 2 minutes of playtime so far for this drive, but it's been a fast one. There's McCray, who's not been all that active during this game. That's 3 first downs in a row. And all of a sudden, with it looking like Tolliver may not see the field again today, Chiles knows the assignment, and he is looking to deliver. There's McCray again, and a 4th first down in a row. This drive looks as good as any. Chiles heard us talking about him and said, you know what? You're not going to talk bad about me. I get it. My completion rating isn't the greatest. And a moderate gain for Brandon Tullis, who also has 55 yards on the ground. Running back by committee for sure. Chiles' jersey looking a little worn and torn as he looks to throw, and that one's a little high and inaccurate. Swatted down, definitely a catchable ball. Well, maybe not a catchable ball for Omari Kelly. I do believe that was probably meant to be a little bit lower. Definitely was not going for a jump ball there. And it's 3rd and 7 for the Spartans. If they fail to score here, it could mean Boston College gets another opportunity to try to make it a closer game. And now it's decision time for Michigan State. What are we going to do? Coach is saying we need to kick it. You know what? It's in the coach suggestions. Maybe it's 4th and inches. Head coach Sandman has signaled down to the field that we don't play that weak stuff around here. We're going to pick up a first down, and a big one at that. We are 3 yards away from scoring to try to make this a 31-14 game and retain our 3-score lead. And look who it is. Tulliver on the goal line. He's back in. He said, "Feed me the rock, coach." And that's exactly what coach is going to do. Touchdown, MSU. That's a big, big touchdown right there. Big touchdown. He hasn't had a ton of opportunities because of the ankle injury. Only 11 rushes today, but you know what? We're not too far off 30 carries with this offense. And you know what? It's what Michigan does. It's what teams in the state of Michigan can do. We run the football. That's how you beat teams like Ohio State. Shove it right down their throat. All right, here we go. Not a decent, well, actually kind of a poor return from Boston College that time as we near the end of the 3rd quarter. The student section is alive in East Lansing. I can feel it beating in my chest. Just like he can feel it beating in his chest. That's Jordan Hall on the tackle there. 2nd. I don't know if they're going to call that one a tackle for loss, but he didn't gain anything. Nice play, Grayson James in the gun. 2 seconds remaining. Can't quite get the ball off. And it'll be the end of the 3rd quarter. Grayson James in the gun. Dropping back, scrambling a little bit. He's had a lot of time behind his O-line today, as Michigan State has not sent nearly the amount of pressure that they did against Western Michigan, and that's allowed him to go 16 for 19 in this game and have some pretty solid plays and keep his team on the outside looking in. That's going to be a screen pass out to his running back, tackle made, Jordan Hall. That is number 5, one of the captains, I do believe, on this Michigan State team, and that's a 4th down, actually. It's going to be a call to the punt team, and Omari Kelly looking to get an opportunity to return one, and he's not going to do that. Tulliver remaining in the game following his 2nd touchdown. He got a little bit of a break, but he's ready to come back and try to finish this one out as well-deserved. 2 touchdowns in this game. Might not be the 100-yard game that he was hoping for, but we've got to manage injuries. It's a long year, and when you've got a 3-score lead, that's a big run from Tulliver. He might get that 100-yard game if he keeps running like that. He's up to 72 yards, and that's 1st down, bitch. 1st and 10 for the Spartans. 7.5 minutes remain. Tulliver remains in the game following that solid run, looking to break off a couple more yards. It's a gain of 3 for him as he hits the 75-yard mark. And 2nd and 7 now. Running it back off, breaking a couple tackles, staying upright, gain of 4. It's going to be 3rd and short for Michigan State. Let's see what they call here. They are up by 3 scores. I'm sure Coach Sandman would love to get his backups in if they can put something up on the board here. But they've got to play it smart. That's a deep ball up to Nick Marsh. Intercepted by Boston College. Huge play from Boston College, and not the greatest decision by Aidan Chiles for sure. Man, a little bit of silence here in East Lansing. Take a quick look at this one again. That's Carter Davis, the free safety for Boston College. That's the first interception thrown this year for Chiles. Can't imagine it's going to be his last one, but he's played pretty solid to this point. Boston College gets the ball back. A drive that Aidan Chiles will try to forget the next time he comes out. Gain of none for McDonald. You wonder why they're still going to the ground game when it is a 6-minute game and a 17-point lead for Michigan State. Grayson James going to have to get something in the air, as he's going to get a little pressure, and it's going to be a completed pass. That's Skeet. 6 catches, 63 yards, and a touchdown so far. Solid game for him. And for the first time, probably all night, Grayson James is going under center. And it's not going to pay off. That's a huge sack for Michigan State in a 4th down. You got to think this is 4-down territory for Boston College, as they're down 3 scores with about 5 minutes remaining. That's Nikai Martinez. We talked about him at the beginning of the season as being an impact player for the Michigan State Spartans defense, and that's exactly what he was in that scenario. A huge impact player for MSU, and that's exactly what Boston College is going to do. They're going to go for it. 4th and 10, a 5 wide receiver look. Grayson James dropping back to pass. He chucks one up. He's got a man, one-on-one coverage, incomplete, and Michigan State will take over, and that might be all she wrote here in East Lansing, as it is going to be 1st and 10. Pretty much in the red zone, ladies and gentlemen. They're at the 20-yard line. It's not going to take much, and they are officially inside the red zone. Clock is going to begin to wind down on this rough evening for the Boston College Eagles. Brandon Tullis out now. Clock winding down. 2nd and 5, looking to pick up a 1st down. He's not going to gain anything. He's going to lose a yard. I was going to say solid run from Tullis, but obviously not. Chiles going from the shotgun to try to pick up a 1st down here. If anything, they want to try to get at least 5 yards. They might get more than that. That's a touchdown for MSU. Second touchdown of the game for Omari Kelly. 3rd passing touchdown for Aidan Chiles, looking to negate that 1 interception, and that's exactly what he did there. Forget about it, he says. I don't want that to be the last thing you're thinking about. Aside from tonight's Spartan victory, is his interception. 176 yards, has yet to eclipse that 200-yard mark, only throwing 192 a week ago. Sitting at 176, and I doubt he's going to come back out if Michigan State happens to get the ball back. But we'll find out. Sure, Coach Sandman on the sideline is having a nice conversation with Mr. Aidan Chiles, telling him a great game, 13 for 23. Still need to look to improve that completion percentage. But as we stated earlier in the game, stats don't matter when you win. It is a 24 score right now for Michigan State, as Grayson James stays in the game looking to pass. He's not giving up. That's Jordan McDonald's 1st reception on the night. Grayson James has played solid. You can't take anything away from him. He has certainly looked good, as he's going to get sacked. Again, that's only the 3rd sack, when Michigan State had an absolute slew of them, but the competition gets steeper. This was the MAC last week. Today is the ACC, and that's Jeremiah Hughes, the corner. Boundary corner coming off the edge to make the sack on Grayson James. And it is 3rd and 9 as we approach the 2-minute warning here in the 4th quarter. Got to imagine this will probably take him to the 2-minute warning, and it looks like it will. And it's going to be a call to the punt team for Boston College. They are conceding defeat Looks like they're going to be content with finishing the game out in that matter. Michigan State puts up 38 points to this point. I can't imagine that they're looking to do much else. And that is going to be the end of the night for Aidan Chiles. He's going to step on out. Brandon Tullis, remains in the game. Not a very good juke by me. Did not look good. I do believe that this is sophomore quarterback, and we're probably going to butcher his name. Milovijev? What? No idea. No idea how to say it. Decent run from Tullis. 3rd and 4, and we got an injury for Boston College. That's Owen Stoudemire. Don't believe he's related to Amari Stoudemire, but you never know. You never know. Would like to see the backup quarterback get a rep. As far as throwing the ball goes, it's pretty much all backups now. No Velling, no Nick Marsh, nobody. And look at this. Another solid gain from Brandon Tullis, as he as well has 76 yards rushing. He's going to remain in the game. As you can hear the student section, the fans yelling, "Go green, go white." This is a 2-0 start for your Spartans. About as good can get. And that is going to be the final play of the game. Ladies and gentlemen, Michigan State comes in and absolutely gets some amazing revenge against Boston College. Let's take a look at some of the final stats following the game. Let's take a look at the team stats first. Michigan State, 38-14. Pretty big win for Michigan State here. They acquired 24 first downs and 411 yards of total offense. This was really the kicker for them, 235 yards on the ground. And once again, for the second week in a row, the run defense for Michigan State looking absolutely stout. It's the secondary that we have issues with. The run defense only allowing 1 yard per carry. Pretty good. Pretty good. 6.5 yards per rush for Michigan State. Can't ask for much better than that. Passing wise, completion percentage wise, wasn't the greatest. You'd like to see Aidan Chiles open up the field a bit more. It felt like we were a little gun shy to throw the ball deep, because one of the times that we did throw deep, we did throw an interception, but that wasn't until late in the game. So that one ultimately had no effect on the outcome of this game. And as a matter of fact, the Eagles never even scored anything off of it. They did beat us in passing yards, 203 to our 176, 55% on 3rd down. They only had 7 3rd down opportunities. They punted a lot. It was a punt fest for Boston College. MVP is their punter, who I do believe his last name was Winter. Winter is coming. Yes, he's coming. 2 for 2 on 4th downs. Didn't go for any 2-point conversions. Only 83% in the red zone. And we did turn the ball over once. Boston College did not. Aidan Chiles, 56%, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Running back by committee for sure. Thought Makai Frazier had a few more rushes than 5. But he averaged 10.2. Tulliver had 2 touchdowns on the game. Ended up being the lead running back for Michigan State, albeit that he was nursing that ankle injury. But Brandon Tullis, the sophomore out of Dallas, Texas, looked pretty damn good, if I do say so myself. And we saw Chiles get a little active in the run game, which I think as Big Ten play goes into effect, you'll see Chiles probably do that a little bit more. Velling, fantastic game. I mean, what more can you say about Jack Velling? 5 receptions, 115 yards, and a touchdown. Amari Kelly, 2 receptions, 2 touchdowns. That's a perfect right there, ladies and gentlemen. Krishan McCray didn't do as much as you might hope. Only 1 reception for Tulliver. And no catches for Nick Marsh in week 2. A little bit of a storyline developing with Nick Marsh not receiving too much action this week. Could frustrate the young sophomore out of Detroit. Defensively, not a whole lot to write home about. Jordan Hall, 3 TFLs, 1 sack. Definitely the player of the game on the defensive side, along with, once again, Nakai Martinez, hybrid safety out of Apopka. And I don't know if I'm saying that right. Florida. 5'11", 194 pounds. He's great in pass coverage. But he's also showing that he can work it. 16 total tackles for Carter Davis on the Boston College side. Receiving wise, Skeet. Harris, almost called him Reed Davis. All had solid games. Skeeter had 1 touchdown. Rushing, McDonald only touched the ball 9 times. Not a good look, if I'm being honest. But the highlight of today was the 20 for 24 passing percent, or completions per attempts for Grayson James. Duncanville, Texas. You have a good quarterback, guys. 83% completion, 1 touchdown, did not turn the ball over. So I did mention following week 1 that we were gonna show you guys what we've got going on as far as recruits go. Not a whole lot to write home about. We are in the mix with a couple big guys. No 5 stars, all 4 stars. Let's talk about some of the gems. We've got 4-star gem Terrell LeBeau out of Gardenia, California. He is a right guard pass protector archetype. We are leading the charge on him. We've got 50 recruiting points that we're putting into him weekly at this point. Looking down the line at Alex Leinert, we are number 1 with Illinois and Michigan, not trailing too far behind this 4-star gem out of Chicago, Illinois. He's a lurker archetype. So as we go on, we're going to learn a little bit more about some of the archetypes that College Football 26 has to offer. And then really our third and final gem that we were able to find, we found a lot of busts, if I'm being honest with you, is Johnny, gonna butcher this, Chinaza out of Muskegon, Michigan, cornerback, 3-star gem. We're the only one that seems to be putting any time into him, and he's getting ready to lock in to his top 5. A couple other guys, we are first on wide receiver, and we're top 5 for Garrison Moultrie out of West Bloomfield, Michigan. He is another will linebacker along with Alex Leinert. Now, we're not afraid to switch positions on some of these guys if need be. Depending on what the team needs are, we might have to switch a couple of these positions up. We've also got 3-star edge Finau Swoop, teammate of what's-his-face, Moltier, out of West Bloomfield, Michigan. Purdue looks to be another team potentially in the mix, and we do know that Michigan State and Purdue have a tendency to fight for some of the same recruits. Relatively known, I should say. We're putting some time into him to try to get him over. On the other side of that, we've got Mike Cook out of Belleville, Michigan, former Bryce Underwood's teammate, another edge, 4-star. Michigan is right behind him. Bryce Underwood is saying, hey, bring my teammates over. We're going to create something here. We do also have a 2-star recruit that we are not putting any time or effort into at the moment. Looks like he's getting ready to lock top 3, and we're probably not going to be in that. So we're going to end up losing him. Sean Etheridge out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Vertical threat tight end. Possible Jack Velling replacement. 6'2", so not a very big guy. That's kind of sad. We do like, how do I say this? The larger tight ends. Yeah. We do like those guys. Seems like he's going to have a little bit of speed. Kind of has a body of a wide receiver, so to speak, which can be beneficial. You know, not a blocker, but definitely a guy that you might see get open down the field. And then one guy that I extremely want, we need our next Kenneth Walker. And I do believe that can be Marvin Missy out of Shreveport, Louisiana. We're neck and neck with Auburn, halfway there to locking out on the top 3. We're going to put every bit of time that we can into him. And then we have Terrell Tabor, where we're second behind Ohio State, trying to lock him down for a replacement for Chiles when he eventually goes off to the NFL. Little foreshadowing there, maybe. Having a solid season. Let's take a look real quick before we jump out of here. Been a very good week 2 as we win 38-14 let's take a look at some of the season stats for some of our players. Aidan Chiles, 23 for 38, 60% completion, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception, not bad. 2 games, not bad at all. Tolliver, 33 carries, 186 yards, averaging just over 5.5 so far on the year with 3 touchdowns. Tullis has a touchdown as well. And then we talk about the receptions, and this is the highlight that I'm a little worried about. Nick Marsh. Nick Marsh, only 3 receptions, and that was week 1. Has yet to have a touchdown. Omari Kelly, who only has 2 receptions on the entire year, has 2 touchdowns. This is a senior out of Trussville, Alabama, who is also a speedster. I guess you don't have to have that much speed to be considered a speedster, but if you look at Omari, kind of looks a little bit like Lamar Jackson. 85 overall, though. The receiving core for Michigan State, you definitely can't deny, is going to be the toughest thing for opponents. You better have some good corners, some good safeties to go up against this Michigan State offense, and I think that's where our strong suit's going to be. If we can continue to play the way that we're playing on offense as far as our receiving game goes and our running game goes, everything seems to just be gelling. If we can keep everything together while continuously still delivering solid, impactful, and physical defense through the trenches of the opponent's attempted ground and pound, I mean, 2-0, there's no reason that we can't compete for a bowl game this year, and maybe more. I'm not saying playoffs, but I am saying that I do see more on the horizon for us. I think we've got a pretty stout team, a pretty stout future. I really like Aidan Chiles. Take a look at the schedule going forward. We have another home game Saturday at 7:30 against an FCS school. And then we got to travel out to the West Coast where we're going to take on USC at 3 o'clock. Well, 3 o'clock Eastern, 12 o'clock their time. Over at the Coliseum. That's going to be a tough game. That is one we are checking on our calendars for sure. We've got to play teams like Indiana, Michigan, and Penn State. But one thing I did just notice, we don't got to play Ohio State this year. And in some sort of way, that makes me a little excited. Michigan's 1-0, Indiana's 1-0, USC 1-0. We handed Boston College their first loss. Minnesota 0-1. Maryland, who I do believe beat Michigan State in real life last year, is 0-1. Looking for a revenge game there. And looking to come back into East Lansing. It's going to be a fun home game against Michigan this year. Back at home, October 25th. Looking like it's going to be a noon start. But anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this second episode of the Michigan State Spartans Dynasty rebuild. Kind of the goal going forward as far as this goes is we're going to play a couple seasons out of this. There's not going to be any simulating. We're going to make it tough on ourselves, as realistic can be. Within reason, right? It is a video game at the end of the day. But anyways, guys, my name's Sandman, and we'll be seeing you.